thanks to you at home for joining me this hour. You are listening to Center of the Sun podcast. How are you doing? Well, if you can't beat them, you absolutely should not join them. You also can resist them. Do not go places you are not welcome. I'm here to tell you to invest in yourself today. I am here to tell you to look within. Specifically, gay black men, I want you to realize that you possess an esoteric energy system. This is Center of the Sun. That is what we're going to continue talking about today. This system, also known as our chakras, our power centers, and they hold our emotions. Everything we experience is recorded in these enigmatic centers of our body. They're hard to explain, but they're there. Even the things that we forget are there. Even the things that we were never told are there. I call it our connection to other dimensions, our higher self, or maybe even God. Someone on Twitter lamented last week about his lack of motivation. And if you suffer from a lack of motivation, I have a few tips this episode to get you back on your swing of whatever you're on. And it's really not that hard. If you don't have, and well, also on Twitter, you don't have to be like Killer Mike buying a whole fucking property. You don't have to make moves like him, because some people are just not built for all that. Also, Killer Mike's wife was all over social media this past week because she encouraged her husband to buy a property instead of a fancy ass car. So this success story was almost ruined by that car. Like I said, some people are just not built for business. And if you have a smart enough partner to advise you on what to do with your money, then you have already won. But it's a lot easier to start a business when you already have money. And from my perspective, she was just managing his brand as a social activist. So it is what it is. I don't find it benevolent, but anyway, it just makes sense. To keep getting money, you should probably do what you said you were going to do. And that's be an activist. And that's probably not buy something that depreciates the moment you buy it. But in my infinite wisdom, I commented on a few things about it, and it's true. You should invest in yourself, but also you should invest. Your joy is also an investment. So that's been my tagline all season. Look within, freedom's there. And it's true. What if your freedom requires money, though? That ego that everyone keeps talking about and telling you to forget is actually your biggest money maker. It's better. It's the best thing. It's the thing you could invest in, because it's what makes you separate from everybody. And given the information that we know about our esoteric energy body that we've been talking about on Center of the Sun, if you've missed the last few episodes, I want you to check it out, because we have really been getting into some exciting information about the human body, and about our own ability to find the answers that already are embedded within our biology. And all we have to do is look, and by look, I mean shut the fuck up, sit the fuck down, and trust the host of services that your meat vehicle is providing you. You are a supreme being, and you cannot be contained in this physical reality. Thank you, Seven Bowman, for telling me that. SecretEnergy.com has been a godsend, because what I've learned is that anything you want to change, the first step is realizing that the change is necessary, and then saying it out loud, because it makes it more real. So our ego helps us validate our purpose in life. But you don't know what the fucking ego is. Well, that's okay, because if you haven't heard, I personally define the ego as our biological tool that filters our reality into thoughts. It's the awareness that we're separate from everything else. So one of my favorite authors, Eckhart Tolle, who was made famous by Oprah. Well, I guess he's made famous by himself because Oprah found him. But he defines it as the feeling of feeling separate. It's that I am me, it's those thoughts. That's your ego. And this week on Twitter, I had a random thought about how it was weird that I realized who I was. And your presence is separate. Or realizing that I'm separate from other people in the world. And even though we seem separate, it seems so deep. It seems like this big thought. It also seems arbitrary too. Because on some level, I know it's not true. We are not truly separate because we have feelings that we are not. So we have to trust our feelings. We have to trust the vehicle that we're in to give us the data that we need. But to what degree are we connected? And I have no idea. Another person's reality may be different than yours when you're in the same place, or when you're passing, or when you're seemingly passing each other. Why am I bringing this up? Well, I think it has to do with, it all ties together back into the esoteric energy system inside every creature on this planet. And for the last few episodes, I've been focusing on this system. So we've been exploring some new websites. So secretenergy.com is a new site that I encourage you to visit because it has just a whole host of, it's a comprehensive and more consolidated source of information on the matter. And I found a website that it kind of explains the esoteric energy system, and it says, quote, the esoteric student has to grasp these two main things, okay? That one, he or she is an aggregation of force inherited and conditioned by what has been, plus a great it's not written very well, but it has good information. Okay. So the first thing you need to realize is that you're an aggregation of force. What does that mean? Interestingly enough, on secretenergy.com, Seven Bowman has a show called Astral Quest. And I sit down, it's like my new TV. It's so weird. But I sit down and I watch these things because he's just saying these things to me and I don't even know what he's talking about. I have no frame of reference. No one's ever said them to me before. But I'm perceiving it as light language. And I wish I could say more about what that means. But as an empath, I experience light language. When certain people speak, I have an experience. And I don't know what that experience is, but I know that they're speaking in a language that I call light language. Where they are saying things to me and it's interacting with my esoteric energy body in a way that indicates to me that what they're saying is not necessarily true, but is something of value. So, Seven Bowman was talking about on this Astral Quest show years ago. I mean, he has the stuff online, just hours of stuff that you have to watch, and that he tells you have to just sit through and watch it because he's not saying it again. Which makes sense because it's very valuable stuff, and he's probably said it 3 million times already anyway, and he just doesn't want to say it 3,000,001 times. But he was talking about how the ocean is the source of all life, and that if you look closely at some of the fossils and the shells and the you can see the structures of these animals mimic the structures of our bodies, of our organs, our internal organs. And he makes the case that the human body is an aggregation of animals, of other animals, or aggregation of force. The energy so the geometry that is naturally occurs in the ocean is mirrored inside of our body, and that is data driven. I also just watched on fucking YouTube about this mini motherfucking castle. It was like a Washington Post or something, something just random, but it's like somebody in the 1700s had Jurassic, or what we claim to be Jurassic fossils. They wanted to preserve these fossils, so they built it into a castle. They built a castle and they embedded all these fossils. But I'm like, if it was like Jurassic fossils, I know in America we would have it it would be preserved, but in this country it was just laid to ruin. So I'm like, clearly the way we value, or the way we think about time, is maybe not true in our reality. Is the Jurassic period, was it 300 million years away? Time ago, 300 million years ago? Because in America we seem to value that kind of stuff, but over in another part of the world where they build a whole castle out of it, they let the castle go and the fossils go. I mean, and private citizen renovated it, but basically fossils, that's what I'm talking about. Like, we have been told that because of the time frame, is the time frame so vast? That's what I'm getting at. Was the Jurassic period, quote, end quote, 300 million years away? If so, why are we so nonchalant about the fossils if they're that big of a deal? Anyway, but we're an aggregate force. There's just more evidence that the reality that we've been given is not the reality that is true. And being an aggregate force is becoming more and more realistic, because you could see it biologically. You can see how different animals, their geometry, the way their DNA builds their body, is a fraction of how our DNA builds our bodies. And the aggregation of force is inherited and conditioned by what has been. That sounds like evolution. I don't know, like an idea, like these ideas, it wouldn't be far. These ideas are not far off. That's what I'm getting at, is that we think that they're odd and occult and mystical and supernatural, but actually it might be the most natural thing out here, and that actually our resistance to it is supernatural. Yeah, but anyway, moving along. Plus a great antagonistic, I can't read, force, which is not a principle, and which we call the physical body. So it's the physical body pushing against the energy body. As the energy, I guess you need more energy bodies to equal the density of the physical body. That would make sense. But that is something that you need to understand when grasping these ideas, is that multiple things are being joined into one, and that's how we have greatness. And that's why when we call ourselves supreme beings, we can say that, because not only are we one thing, but we are many things. That's what makes us supreme. Also, another thing you should probably understand while we talk about these ideas about the esoteric energy body is that one should be sensitive to and should be increasingly aware of certain energies at present, unknown, and of no use. Of these, one must eventually become aware if one is to move deeper into the world of the hinted forces, okay? They may be energies which, for him, would be evil, where he... Yeah, so let's talk about evil, okay? So that's one of the big things that we need to clarify on this show, is that no longer... I think I even did an episode called The Examples of Substance Dualism. Well, luckily, the ego was superseded because substance dualism is an egoic idea. It's a dichotomy, divide, those mean two. And twos are good because there's nothing really good or bad, but that twos are not everything. Twos are not all that we need to focus on. There's also the observer. So when we talk about evil, we're just talking about the things that are unknown. We're talking about, when we talk about the darkness, we talk about the things that are unknown. When we talk about the light, the things that we know, those, or the white things, that's just what we know. It's not good or bad. It's just what we know and what we don't know. What's attractive and what's magnetic. Or what's attractive and what's energetic. I forget what's magnetic and what's energetic. And you may, so when we're talking about hidden forces in the esoteric energy body, and we're talking about energies and vibrations and stuff like that, we may encounter energies or vibrations that may be detrimental to your survival, but are not inherently bad. So if you want to move into the world of hidden forces, there may be energies which for you would be evil, where it's this stupid grammar. I'm going to try to say this one more time. Okay, I'm going to try to read this sentence because it doesn't even make sense, but it makes sense to me when I read it in my head. He's sensitive to and should be increasingly aware of certain energies at present unknown and of no use to him. Of these, he must eventually become aware if he is to move deeper into the world of hidden forces. They may be energies which, for him, would be evil were he to work with them, and these must be distinguished and discarded. Okay, so if they're detrimental to you, you must distinguish and discard the energies that do not work for you. So for me, I can't interact with R. Kelly or hit any energy, so I don't even mess with that kind of stuff. I know what my soul can handle, and I don't want to even compromise any happiness or joy that I have. So there are also others which he may learn to use. So don't forget that everything and some things may happen for a reason. So if they may prove to be beneficial, how do they prove to be beneficial? Well, benefits to you also increase your knowledge. So you should therefore regard that thing as good. Bear in mind, however, that energies per se are neither good or bad. Okay? There is no hierarchy. That's what we're trying to break from. We're trying to get away from the hierarchies. We're trying to get away from the dichotomies. We're trying to get away from these systems that only divide us. Pyramids only divide us. Pyramids are a hierarchy. You're trying to get away from these ideas, okay? So how do you become aware of the energies around you? To become aware, this website states, to become aware of the nature of the forces which constitute your personality equipment, okay, your ego, and which you yourself magnetically brought into expression in these worlds, okay? They form a combination of active forces. So your thoughts and feelings and your movement and all that kind of stuff is a combination of active forces, and you must learn to differentiate between strictly physical energy, which is automatic. Body, your birth and all that, the world just automatically works. Nature is automatic. You are nature. You're automatic. Your physical energy responds automatically to other and inner energies, and those which come from emotional and mental levels of consciousness. Okay? So your body, you have to, and this is why you have to have a diet and practice meditation, because your body goes into fight or flight, because that's what it's supposed to do. Your body is doing its job. Your emotional bodies and your other parts of your esoteric energy system also must be trained. That's why we're focusing so hard on it, because you can either motivate yourself and galvanize your physical body, or you can fuck yourself over, okay? And give yourself cancer or whatever it is. This is why The Asians got billions in their countries. The Hindus and the Chinese people and stuff, like, these people didn't get a billion sitting on their ass eating McDonald's. Okay. So the website also goes on to explain to become sensitive to the impelling energies of the soul emanating. Okay, so those emanating energies of the soul, they emanate from higher mental levels. That's why you have to think and talk, interact with people. The more you increase your mental capacity, the more you can become sensitive to the energies around you and of your soul. These seek to control the forces of the threefold person, which a certain definite point in evolution is reached. Okay, so we're all trying to ascend to this like higher self. Are we going to get there? I don't know. Should we? I don't know. I don't really feel like it. I'm still tired. But to recognize the conditioning energies in this environment, seeing them, it's not an event, but it's a cycle. Everything is a cycle. And this website goes on to say that, quote, by this, it means one learns to find his way beyond and behind the scene of outer happenings into the world of energies, seeking contact and qualifying for the bringing out of certain activities so you can manifest stuff. When you learn how to, this is not our purpose. We're not trying to like manifest money or anything. We're trying to emanate, and we're trying to interact with and receive energies of the soul. Because once we can figure out that, if you figure out the foundation, if you figure out how the game is played, it's not a game, but if you figure out how it's made, how reality works, then you can make better decisions for your survival. Okay? And you can start bringing in the energies, or discarding the energies that no longer serve you, or bring in the energies that you want to serve you. So, what is esotericism? That's what we're talking about. What is esotericism? Esotericism is, quote, the art of bringing down to earth those energies which emanate from the highest source and then grounding them via your physical meat vehicle, your body, anchoring them in oneself and in your surroundings. We have been placed on this earth for a reason. And your task to recognize energy and to recognize your ability to force that energy in any direction, or to discriminate between the various types of energy, both in relation to themselves and to world affairs. Okay? Donald Trump tweeting every day is energy in a particular way. And to begin to relate that which is seen and experienced to that which is unseen, conditioning and determining. This includes energies producing world events via natural disaster, or concern governments and politics, revolutions, communism, democracy, capitalism. War is an explosion of energies and forces. Literally, they're building bombs and flying planes, blowing up stuff. And that energy is generated by inner planes, by us. Our external plane is created by our inner plane. Okay, are you having nightmares? Your inner plane is being disrupted by your outer plane, and vice versa. Esotericism is not in any way a mystical or a vague nature. It's not science. Or it's not a pseudoscience. It's a real science. It's essentially the science of the soul and the science of all things, how all things work together. The esotericist is dealing with substance all the time. And one is concerned with that living, vibrant substance of which the worlds are made of, and which, inherited as it is from a previous solar system, you are star stuff. You are colored by past events, and you are already tinged with karma. That's why you don't need to add anything bad to your life. You're occupied and you're working with those principles which energize each level of the cosmic physical plane, and which are in reality aspects of the qualified life energy, which is working in and through unprincipled substance. This website is so good. It goes on to say its task is to shift the focus of attention away from substance, from the substance form side of existence, and to become aware of that which has been the source of form production of any specific level. It is your task to develop within yourself the deeded responsiveness and sensitivity to the quality of life dominating any form until one arrives eventually at the quality of the one life animates the planet, and within whose activity we live, move, and have our being. So if you believe in God, you should also believe in the esoteric energy body, because the God with which you move and have your being, yeah, you're connected to it at all given points in times. And to do this, first of all, you must discover your own nature, must discover your own qualified energies. And you're expressing your energy. You express your energy all the time, but you're not expressing in a way that perpetuates manifestation and promotes personality, in a way that integrates it with, the good energies surrounding you. Okay? What are your questions? Do you have any questions? Well, you can send them to host@centersun21.com. On Twitter, you can tweet me at centersun21. Do you believe in the esoteric energy system? Is it a science? Do you believe it's really science? Vibrations, vibes. Well, they talk about it on TV. I think it's widely accepted that everything is a vibration. Light is a wave, not a particle. Like, bitch, like, we know what's going on. But because of Christianity and all kinds of other religions, we kind of forget and we kind of resist it. Well, I know that the esoteric energy body exists because of music. Music, particularly music and tones. Those two things particularly interact. When I hear them, I kind of have an experience with my whole spine and stuff. It's weird. But these systems of 12, the chakras and stuff like that, like, our reality has been built around these systems of 12, not because like that's just like how the world revolves around the sun or whatever it is. No, it's because it's a mask to replace the fact that we know intuitively how our own body works, but we've been given a distraction. Like, oh no, we intuitively think of everything as a system of 12 because that's the system of the sun. That's what we've been told. But no, we've been told that the system, everything is a 12 because that's how energy moves through our body. Anyway, that's it for today. That's it for Esoteric Energy Systems Part 5, bitch. Let me tell you something else. No one told me that Star Trek was back on. Star Trek Discovery is so lit. I love a sci-fi show, but it's on CBS All Access. What is up with that? But it's the only sci-fi show that puts black people squarely and happily in the future, being successful, living their best life out here, being smart and cute with their natural hair. Also, so I want you to check that out. So check out Star Trek Discovery, CBS All Access. You have to pay like whatever money every month to watch it, but I turn it on and off only for that show. Also, I'm tired of people on Twitter asking arbitrary questions. What is the purpose? What is the purpose? Oh, would you date somebody who had red shoes on? Like, would you date somebody who had HIV? Like, what? Where are you going? Like, what? Where do y'all get these questions from? They're so arbitrary and they don't add any value to anyone's life. All they do is continue making us stupid. So I encourage you, if you're asking arbitrary questions on Twitter just for engagement, I don't know. You're not engaging people. It's not engaging if you ask them a stupid question. Please find something meaningful to ask. Selfies also serve no purpose. So moderation. Jesus fucking Christ. Moderation or nothing at all. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Damn it. Also, sex and nudity, it gets boring. It has a place. It has a time and a place. But is that all you have to say? If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Also, how to motivate yourself. So welcome to part 2 of our episode. I forgot I was doing this. So I wanted to talk about motivation in the ego. So I was just fussing a minute ago. That's where you don't put your energy in Twitter. See how that just happens? You start thinking about something, then you just see how I just got real angry with my voice energy. With my voice energy. Sorry. Anyway, I meant to say anyway, but I said energy. How to motivate yourself and how to increase your energy. Well, the first thing I want you to do is focus on food. Okay? Okay, honey. A few episodes ago, we talked about, I forget what episode it was, but I basically expounded upon the fact that I've accepted that Beyonce was right about being vegan and that, but we have to worry about the quality of our food. And a lot of times, modern farming has depleted the quality of the soil. Therefore, we're not being fed nutrient dense. Even in a vegan diet, it's not nutrient dense. So what would I suggest? I suggest that you go to centersun21.com, scroll all the way to the bottom to the store link, purchase Shilajit, or also known as Shilajit. It's a supplement that I take. It's been going pretty well. I've only taken it a few times, but it replaces 85 minerals or something that are missing from our soils. So trace minerals. Like, it's not like you're like eating a bowl of lead or drinking Flint water. Flint still doesn't have clean water. So fucking crazy. But if you need help supplementing your diet, I don't take any other supplements because supplements are not FDA approved. They have not been recognized or evaluated in a way that makes me feel comfortable to sell it to other people. But if I'm going to take it, I'm going to tell you to take it too. Because I feel like at a foundational level, we are malnourished. That's why I'm skinny right now. I'm 183. I'm 6'2", 180. It is not cute. Other people think I look great, but I'm like, I'm feeling a little thin. Also, high fiber. I think that's why my weight is good, because I don't work out, so I don't lift weights. And because I don't believe in that. I don't believe in lifting weights because it hurts. And then I also believe, since I've been taking fiber supplements, my digestion is like 100% better. And also, because of high fiber helps your poops, all your food stay together. So you don't digest it as fast. Therefore, you don't absorb the fat at all, and then it gets to your colon or whatever, and you poop it out. So high fiber diets, but I take a fiber supplement to get that benefit. I can't eat enough kale. I don't like kale that much to get that high fiber. So but I think that was what we forget. Like, we get fat. Like, if we eat shitty food, it goes into our digestive system immediately. If we pair shitty food with high fiber supplement, we can delay the absorption of those fats until it gets to the toilet, and then it doesn't even absorb. So I'm like, so I can eat, like, even though So while I get my life together to get to the place where I can eat healthier, Sheila G and high fiber supplements have been helpful to me. That, coupled with meditation, has increased my energy tenfold because it's putting me squarely back in connection with myself, where all my fucking answers are. Also journaling, doing stream of consciousness journaling, and just putting my thoughts on paper and getting it out of my head, an instant increase of my energy. And then I can use that to make money. So, like I can turn my journals into song, like that's what I'm talking about. Like when you're like, you can use yourself, like, but you got to focus. You got to sit down and shut the fuck up and do something that you were learned as a kid, like write with pen and paper, not with your thumbs and a screen. You need to write with it. We need to do the thing that you learned as a child, because all the children today, they won't know what writing on a paper means, but because we did it, I never learned how to express my thoughts on a screen. Like I only know how to express my thoughts with my voice and a microphone and with a piece of paper. And I can use computers to help get my message out, but in terms of putting it on paper, I have to go back to my foundation. So if you're 30 if you're 30 and that's how you learned, then you have to go back to foundations in order to get it out properly, in order to get it out of your head properly, so then you can synthesize it and edit it. But I'm learning. I have to go back to basics. Also, I have major depression, so I have to take an antidepressant called Vibrid that has changed my life in terms of fixing the broken neurons, because if you've been here for Center of the Sun season 1 or season 2, we talk about neurology. We talk about how once your brain develops into an adult brain, even if you get a traumatic brain injury, your brain just kills that part of the brain and just reroutes and doesn't fix it and doesn't see the need to fix parts of the brain that have expired. So once you've passed puberty, once you pass your 5-year-old brain development, and then you go through another brain development spurt in your 20s. Once you pass those two, that you really don't get your brain doesn't, it just compensates for what it lost. It doesn't recreate old brain. So as a 30-year-old, I'm like, okay, well, if my depression's here, it's probably here to stay. So I have to take medicine called Vibrid. It's changed my life. Also, I limit myself on the news. I watch 1 hour of news a day. That's it. Also, I limit myself to one social media, Twitter, like I can't do 30, so these are the things that I do to motivate myself and to keep my energy together, because what I've learned too is that you have a limit. So you're better off focusing on what you want to do and what you love. And if you can't do what you want to do or what you love, you should focusing on figuring out a way to do what you want to do or what you love. Thank you for listening. This is Center of the Sun, and I will see you. Take care.